In Bucharest, the ARC building is one of the first new office buildings to appear. And most interestingly, it's one of the new speculative office buildings to appear. In other words, there is not a client that takes the entire building. There's going to be many clients in there, many tenants. So from this point of view, it's an event, being an avant-garde of the new age of office buildings in Bucharest. If we talk about architecture, one of the issues in discussing the quality and the position of a building is its relation to the environment, to the neighbors, to the context. So the context, it's one of the most important things that we react to. A building has to reflect what's happening around or to contradict what's happening around. It's a major consideration in the design of a building. Very visible from the bridge, high visibility, and a prominent location on the bridge, but the bridge itself, by its fact that it's elevated, by the fact that you see the building at the speed of the car, by the very fact that it is a very important presence along this long horizontal corridor, was a major consideration in discussing the context in which we put this building. And actually it determined, if you want, not only, but it was a major role in determining the shape of the building, the general configuration of the building, because we looked at how it's going to be perceived at the speed of the car from far away, from closer, and so forth. In other words, the image that this building is going to produce in the city, and this image is going to be mostly seen from the speed of the car. But of course, it's going to be seen also from the ground, the relation between the building and the ground floor building with the bridge, which is very close. All these were considerations in the design. And in general, we believe that a good quality architectural building is the one that addresses in some sort of way the context. Now, context is complicated. It's not only related to the height of the adjacent building, it's related to the geography, to the history, to the light, to many things. So this was, I would say, the most important consideration in the design of the building was its neighborhood, proximity to the bridge, the speed of the perception of the building, and so forth. That's why there is some linearity about the bridge. Actually, the bridge is linear and then curves, and the curvatures of this building, it's addressing the vicinity of the bridge. It's a sort of a dialogue between horizontal and curvature lines, which are related exactly to the bridge and the perception from it. The big first experiment ARC did was working with us. It's the first client, the first time we worked with them. Yes, they told us from the beginning and that they would like to have a building at top line of environment, efficiency, energy, and everything else. So and I think that my colleagues from who did the design for the electromechanical system, they told you about the ceilings, about the innovative way of doing the ceilings and everything else. It was a long research in the best way to produce the most energy efficient building. We've done advanced studies about the efficiency of the building as far as energy is concerned. It affected not only the systems, but also the envelope. Because in the end, the energy efficiency, which is the big thing now, it's an important consideration in the design. As much as the context is for the shape of the building, the energy is for the rest. And in the energy, it's involved in discussions about the electromechanical systems and the envelope, because these two, between the two of them, we obtain the energy that we want to get. So as far as the envelope, we try to get an envelope that it is pretty efficient, while at the same time we do not want to get a totally opaque envelope, because as you know, the more transparent the building is, the more attractive in a way to see inside, the more inefficient it is. So we have to find the right balance between the opacity, reflexivity of the glass, and this idea that you are not completely surrounded by mirrors inside, that you can see from outside inside and vice versa. So it was a long discussion about these elements. So the envelope, it is connected, put powerfully, with the entire NZEB requirements and the overall configuration of the energy systems. The issue is that we do not believe in a good architecture aesthetically of a building which is not efficient. Efficiency, it is not an adversary of aesthetics. My opinion are the best buildings are also efficient in a certain way. Wasting space, wasting circulation is never conducive to beauty, because efficiency, it's also sincerity about the building, and we try to get as efficient building as we can get, minimizing the lost area. And I think, I don't have the numbers right now in my head, but I think we have very good numbers looking at the gross versus net and everything else, minimizing the circulation and the number of elevators and stairs to whatever is necessary. The beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but we believe that the general aspect of the building, which is a little bit minimalist, but it's also flowing, it has a dynamic to it. The variation of the height of the glass on different floors, it is in the sync with this idea of perceiving the building at the speed of the car, and also the height of the ground floor, which we took in consideration the height of the bridge and the idea of being able to see from the bridge the lower register of the ground floor and the lobby, which produced some special designs for the envelope of the lower part on the ground floor. It's an all glass system, which is very interesting. Yeah. So I think that in the end, beauty comes from sincerity, simplicity, efficiency, and working with us. We use a large structural grid, minimizing the number of columns. We use pretty large span. So the most important issue, and it was one of the requirements of the owners, was being a speculative building, to have the opportunity to divide a floor into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 100, I'm exaggerating, tenants. So the circulation, the access to the toilets, the access to the fire stairs have to be done in such a way to allow the multiplicity of tenants, a flexibility of the floor, which is an important thing. This is not only related to the floor, it's related to the ceilings in such a way that various tenants can have the same type of light, the same level of natural light, the same level of air conditioning and heating and so forth. So it's a sort of a modulation of this entire building, which always do, allowing segments of this building to have the same facilities as the whole. So they can, depending on what kind of a tenants they get, big or small or whatever. Not only that, but when they get the tenants, they should allow these tenants to do their own interior divisions in such a way that the walls that they're going to put inside to allow offices of good size, of about 3 meters wide, offices that 3 meter, 4 meter, whatever, that walls would hit mullions in the facade. So this whole thing, it's a system in which you live like a meccano, that you can put tenants, and the tenants also have the flexibility of arranging their own offices in the way they want without affecting the building. Also, it's very important that we'd like that the ceilings from outside at night to look sort of uniform, not to every floor a different kind of a mess. So the modulation of the lighting, it's in such a way to accommodate various tenants and various tenants' further divisions inside. Architecture is in details, and details are the most important things, and a building which is not studied on the details is not going to come out okay. We spend an enormous amount of time on the envelope, not only the envelope as seen from outside, but the envelope seen from inside, on the V of the sills, on the bottom of the windows, on the terraces, on the details of the ceiling, how the ceiling meets the walls, how the columns go through the thing. Now, as far as the floors, the carpet area, this is the choice of the tenants. What we are looking now and want to, which is not easy, is to find a system of blinds that can go on the rounded portion of the building. So you cannot have straight blinds with a round building. So we found a system of blinds that move on the circular, on the rounded part of the building, So the whole idea is to give a sort of a uniform aspect of the building, while inside it's a multitude of different organizations. This is what we do in most of the speculative buildings we try to do. We had on the ground floor, there are several possibilities. On the left, there is office space. There is a potential cafeteria on the right. On the back of the building, because the building has this shape, on the back of the building it's a large green area, which is designed by a landscape architect, which is very interesting. It's actually the nice part of it, because in this noise and movement and agitation of the neighborhood, it's nice to have a space in the back that it's sort of green and calm and everything else. So a tenant there has everything, has a cafeteria, but there had a recreation area, has a flexible floor. So this building has the opportunity of having individual offices and open office plan. So it's a raised floor, so all the distribution of power and electrical is under the floor, and gives you maximum flexibility on that. Everybody, not only the owners of ARC, want a tall ceiling. They want a tall ceiling and an economical building. And we try to explain to them that the bigger ceilings are, the taller the envelope, and the most money it's going to cost. But in the end, this is what the desire is to have. We have like 3 meters, then we have some areas which is a little bit lower on the structural grid, but 3 meters, which is, it used to be 270. This height is important. Is important especially when you have a 3,000 square meter floor plate, because the bigger the floor plate, the more air we need. Yeah. Of course, the bigger height has and more comfortable, luxurious working space has implications. You have to heat and cool a larger volume of air. The envelope is higher and you're going to have to spend more money. But this is what the market is. Right now, everybody's running for tenants and they want to give these tenants as much as they want. All my buildings get pissed off because they want to be picked, and I don't know. I like them very much when I finish them, and after a while perhaps I like them a little less because another one comes. But this one is an interesting one because it has a very special position next to a highway, next to a bridge, and it's one in which we finally succeed to do curved glass. This is a major, because we try to do this in other places, we never succeed. This one we did succeed to get curved glass. And I think from this point of view, our client was one with vision and with ambition to create a building of a certain status. So from this point of view of which is the building with the curved glass you like the most, is this one. The curved glass gives you this machine edge, industrial, computerized feel. It smooths the edges of the building as the highway is smooth around. It's a different thing. It's purely aesthetics, of course, but aesthetics cost money. They spend the money where they had to be spent. The underground levels is like this. When we get a contract, the tradition was that the design per square meter in the underground is less than on the upper ground. At this moment, I want to tell you that we spend more time underground than above ground, because of the efficiency of the parking is fundamental, because of the structure that you have to come down from the office building, because of all the mechanical system, the ventilation system, because of all the new regulations that are very tough. So in the end, the underground levels are the levels that we are spending an enormous amount of time to get them right, and they are very important to be efficient, because the underground is not efficient. This is money lost by the owner. So the owners is very, very attentive to get a totally effective parking garage with everything that needs, because nobody wants to spend money in the ground. They want to spend money on the curb glass. So we have to have and the cost of underground, especially in the condition in Bucharest where the water is pretty high and the soil is not that great and the seismic conditions are tough. Underground, it's a complicated and expensive proposition for anybody. The more lower you go, the more expensive it gets. It has 2 levels of underground. -1 is taller because it was supposed to eventually to accommodate the double levels. They are not installed now, perhaps they're going to be installed later. So that's why it's taller. We have a lot of mechanical rooms. We had some locker rooms for bicyclists. We have storages, we have, so that's all in every building. This is a building that works with heat pumps. We have the mechanical rooms for those and so forth. So it's never a pure garage with just cars. Besides, we have the cores that come down, and the people who park there, they have to go and take the elevator from the underground, from the core that is in underground. So it's a complicated level. On top of that, it is the envelope, the area of underground of the exterior walls, the perimeter which has to be special design for foundations to retain the pressure of the earth, special foundation system on piles and everything. So it's a architectural, structural, electromechanical, complicated design. So it is not easier than what's above. Yeah, the logo system is architects' nightmares because they usually come and screw up the facades. It happened to us many times. So we're struggling with logos. We tried to integrate the logos, which are many logos, I don't know how many tenants would be, into the design of the building. And I think we'll be successful. ARC is at the standard A superior level of quality and amenities as any office building. Of course, interior design, it's something else. It's very much connected with the lobby. It's done by... The building has at one point a setback on the 8th and 9th floors, which is it's actually moving away from the line of the building, and this connection between these two divergent facades was a technical nightmare, but we succeeded to do. We have a good curtain wall company and consultants to help us to go through most complicated details of the facade. And I think it will be an interesting one. I'm curious to see it myself, how it's going to be. In the end, we're looking at mock-ups, and the building is going up now, and we're pretty excited. Well, we have codes as far as the resistance of the walls, the sound barriers that we have to respect. I think the envelope is future-proof. I think the ceilings will be future-proof. The carpet, I don't know what they're going to choose. But in principle, everything it is pretty solid, and I don't see any issues. Of course, changes can be done, respecting the rules, but the most future-proof issue is the capacity of the future tenants to reorganize themselves, to increase, to decrease. That's future-proof. The future-proof is not so much in the capacity of the finishes to resist time, it's in the capacity of the tenants to respond to their needs of growth and reducing of the dimension. That means future-proof. And from this point of view, this office is fully capable of adapting to multiple requirements and developments and transitions and changes in the future of this office building. The ideal office buildings are on these curved areas because they give you panoramic views, and it's nice to be surrounded by something that it's embracing you. Yeah, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4 rounded ones. Then we have a concave one, and also another issue was about the comfort of the people in the office was the noise level, because we have the bridge there with cars and things, so we had to address the noise level. We had to address many other things that we haven't discussed. The lighting, the exterior lighting. It's many things. It's a simple building. It's an office building. It's a simple building in principle, but it has a lot of stuff in it, and you'll see it when it's ready.